Let's look at this and do a wee bit of a test. You know, tests are good. They're usually the best because they give you the assurance that you can use to rest later when you're done eating food and you digest. And you don't need to jest at things like I sometimes do. It's just fun, so I would recommend it, dude. But look at me as I type this poem soon because I like to rhyme around in circles. It's kind of a boon in how I feel about how you look at me, thinking so selectively. All right, I got a lot of junk. I'm writing a museum poem, well, City of New York poem for a museum. Trying to make it 3 minutes long. I'm about here. I've talked about this stuff. I've made myself an outline. Actually, I saw that one. Got this one. Got this one. Okay, revolution. How much time did I skip? 1665. Okay, good. You're seeing that. Cool. Okay. 1665. City of New York wiki. Boom. Okay, where are we? Oh, look at that. It's just not good for you, the reader. Let's just make it a little nicer for you. There we go. Oh, I wanted to skip the lawyer period. I mean, it's pretty interesting, but I just don't have time. I'm trying to make it 3 minutes. English. Oh, here we go. English rule. Oh, maybe that's why I don't want to talk about it. Intertribal wars. With gun, yeah, it's not talking about it, but that's because of guns. They added guns to a society without guns. How the hell do I talk about that? There stood fewer buildings than there's still fewer buildings than 13. There's still that's confusing. There stood only all of the buildings together. The building, some counted to 1384, which grew to 1983 in 1694. But in that time of guns, germs, and steel, the native population dwindled. Give me something that rhymes with steel. Dwindled to 200. What was once swamps, creeks, and streams became settled by natives known as the Lenape. They spoke a language called Unami and caught fish and shellfish by the plenty. Giovanni da Verrazzano was the first European who saw New York Harbor like a Boston would. Giovanni da Verrazzano was the first European captaining a French ship was the first year was a Giovanni de Verrazzano was the first European captaining a French ship in 1524 CN, a place he declared for the place he declared for the a place he declared for the King of France, New Angoulême. I got how do I pronounce this? I forget. Paste. I need to drink water. Angoulême. Wow, I wasn't gonna guess that. I wish I could pause this. I could have to stitch it together later. Pause. And now we are back to the regular scheduled programming. Whew, okay, let's see here. Where were we? Jesus, African burying ground. Some enslaved and some free. Why? They just not bury them near white people. What? That's... Why did it turn off? So bright. 400. Oh, that'd be so amazing. I was not referring to what I was reading just now. I just had a thought in my head. %. 20%. 25,000. Ay, ay, ay. Wow. I guess I didn't realize that both sides were being fucking... Come over here and fight for us. Fuck. I know what I'm gonna write there. Give me something else to write about. How are you so important in your radio? Oh yeah. Ooh, that was a nice shot. I only have what? Yeah, there it is. Only regret that I have but one life to give for my country. I might just copy it. Plagiarizing Nathan Hale. What an asshole. I only regret that I have but one life to give for my country. Something. Blah, 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 blah. Something. Blah, blah, blah. Something, something. I only regret that I have one life to live. Ugh, it's a long quote. So that's over. Ugh. So much war and fighting and bigotry. Humans. Aren't you just tired of this shit? Seems unnecessary. But it must be necessary. American Revolution, Trinity Church, Great Fire. My God, the Great Fire. Oh. Wow. What's the big deal? Activists were working on it for so long, man. Oh, 18. I like this quote. With the revolution, New Yorkers worked abolitionists spoke out in the streets. People no one. Let's get did I copy the quote? Jeez, that's a lot. With the revolution, abolitionists spoke out in the streets. Nothing ending in 3. What's the range of dates there? during the 19th century, right? 1800s. Edgar Allan Poe. I think I got to include you. I love you. Hey Google, where did Edgar Allan Poe live?
Edgar Allan Poe has lived in 6 places. Here are the first 3: Fordham, Richmond, and Boston.
Did Edgar Allan Poe live in New York City? That didn't work. Did Edgar Allan Poe live in New York City? What are you freaking calibrated to? Hey! Yes. For the last 5 years of his life. Jesus Christ, you're my age. Do you not want me to show people this? Valve, come on, man. There we go. Check 1, check 2. Check 1, check 2. There we go. What did Edgar Allan Poe write in the last years of his life? Ooh. Oh my God, it doesn't make me cry. Okay, let's read it. Okay. How long are you? Not very long at all. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea. Oh, I love this poem. I read this poem before. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived, whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child, and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love, I and Annabel Lee. With a love that winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that, long ago, in the kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee. So that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me, to shut her up in the sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, when envying her and me, yes, that was the reason, as all men know, in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we, and neither the angels in heaven above, nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And the stars never rise, but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so, all the night tide, I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride. In her sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea. Wow, Edgar Allan Poe, you are amazing. Oh, gosh. Okay, good. Well, that's making it in. All right. So, population. Got that. Edgar Allan Poe. Oh, okay. Edgar Allan Poe. How old was he How old was Edgar Allan Poe when he wrote Annabel Lee? What was the year he died? And it was published 2 days after his death. She was 13. Oh, gosh. Killed her. 24. So at 11. So at 38 was when she died. Well, did you love him too? Jeez. This is pretty sexual. I'll read it. Ever with thee I wish to roam, dearest my life is thine. Give me a cottage from my home, and a rich old cypress vine. Removed from the world with its sin and care and the tattling of many tongues. Love alone shall guide us when we are there. Love shall heal my weakened lungs. And oh, the tranquil hours we'll spend, never wishing that the others may see. Perfect ease we'll enjoy, without thinking to lend ourselves to the world and its glee. Ever peaceful and blissful we'll be. Oh my God, you wrote that to him? Oh, wow. God, it's weird that she was 13, but that's really nice. They loved each other terribly. This is so weird. Do we have to cancel Edgar Allan Poe now? Shit. Ah, fuck. Never related. Fuck. Wait. Wait a second. These two didn't have sex for a while? Is that just bullshit? Like that between brother and sister. Citing a friend lover to argue that Poe loved his cousin not only with the affection of a brother, but also with the passionate devotion of a lover and prospective husband. Weird. Some scholars, including her, have read many of Poe's works as autobiographical and have concluded that Virginia died a virgin. What? Dude, Poe is fucking weird, so this doesn't make that much unreasonable. Oh my god. Wow. Never consummated the marriage, although no evidence is given. Okay. I think that's bullshit. I think they had sex on day one. I think Poe and her banged like bunnies. Oh my god, come on, give me a freaking focus, please. Day one, Edgar Allan Poe and his wife were having sex. There's no way they weren't. This is bullshit. She's trying to cover his tracks because it's still pretty weird that she's your cousin. I know there's not many people around. It's not that uncommon. I need women in the way that normally I need them. So yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Poe wasn't interested in women sexually. Fuck that, dude. No one's not interested in women sexually. Even gay men. I might get in trouble for saying that. I'm kind of joking around. Don't be mean to me. I mean, I'm a straight man, and I have it's like sexual interest in men, but not like a desire. I think interest is just such a, maybe interest is too vague a word, or maybe I'm not taking it the right way. Maybe everyone thinks of interest being the same thing when they say sexual interest, but I think like things are interesting about, you know, animals sexually. It doesn't mean I have like an attraction to them. Can I please get this? I feel like I'm just slightly out of focus. I need so many new things. Virginia and Poe were by all accounts a happy and devoted couple. She idolized him. She sat close to him while he wrote, kept his pens in order, and folded and addressed his manuscripts. And acrostic is a poem or word composition which the first letter of each line spells out a word. Edgar Allan Poe! I didn't see it. Oh, that's so fun. Gosh, she probably worked her ass off on this. Dude, I knew this was sexual. You know, old school polyamory couple. Oh, it's a woman. I thought Francis was a man's name. The woman, but the older woman had a restraining effect on Poe. It brought to give up the use of stimulants and was never drunk. What were the stimulants that they had back then? Another poet became jealous of Osgood. Yo, where's all the girl poets now? Come at me. Jesus. Ugh. Poe called her her love for him loathsome. Wait, there's like a lot of names coming at me. Jealous of Osgood, though in a letter called her love for him called. What the fuck? Wait, okay. Called her love. My love for you is loathsome. You must do nothing but repel it with scorn. Is that what she wrote? Seems reasonable. Gosh. Printed many of her poems in Broadway Journal. He was its editor. Dude, this guy is like crazy. Ella was known for being meddlesome and vindictive. And while visiting the Poe household in late January 1846, she saw one of Osgood's personal letters to Poe. Okay, so that's Osgood, right? I'm trying to keep track of all these characters. According to Alot, Virginia pointed out fearful paragraphs in Osgood's letter. Damn, Poe! Yo, poets have been killing it with women forever. Every rapper, good songwriters, you know. My time shall come, world. Her indiscretions, and asked her to return her letters, motivated by either jealousy or by a desire to cause scandal. That's not an or statement. That's not a binary operation. It's and to ask Poe on her behalf. Osgood suggested she should beware of her indiscretions and asked Poe to return her letters, motivated by jealousy and desire to cause scandal. See, this is a misprint in Wikipedia. Oh my gosh, you can't even see what I'm looking at. Ugh. Gotta change the size of this. This is crazy. Can I make it smaller? Shit. What the fuck just happened? Make this a little smaller. Can we make... Okay, this doesn't need to look like this. Like that. There we go. Still too big. Okay, well. That looks nice. Looks nice enough, right? Ugh, there's that little freaking spot on the top. It's so annoying. Okay. Anyway. Well, that's good. Then sent blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Another poet, because all the poets hang out if they're not me. Angered by their interference, Poe called them busybodies and said that Alot had better look after her own letters, suggesting indiscretion on her part. Dude, what the hell? He then gathered up these letters from Alot and left them at her house. I should do a dramatic reading of this. How long would that take me? It'd probably take like 15 minutes. It's a little too long. Asked her brother to demand of me the letters. Her brother did not believe that Poe had already returned them and threatened to kill him. In order to defend himself, Poe requested a pistol from this dude. English. He was an author and songwriter. Dude, all these musicians are fucking hanging out and killing each other. Minor writer who was also trained doctor and lawyer. Okay, so if Poe gets fucked up, he wants to get healed. Likewise, had already returned the letters and even questioned their existence. Angered at being called a liar, Poe pushed English into a fist fight. They both claimed they won. Poe's face was badly cut by one of his rings. Flogging, which we remember, to the day of his death. Either way, the fight further sparked gossip over the Osgood affair. Dude, is it... Poe's like a rock star. Doesn't seem like he's very happy, you know? Osgood's husband stepped in and threatened to sue Alot unless she formally apologized for her insinuations. She retracted her statements in a letter to Osgood saying, "The letter shown to me by Mrs. Poe must have been a forgery created by Poe himself." Not that impossible. She put all the blame on Poe, suggesting the incident was because Poe was intemperate and subject to acts of lunacy. I believe this. Alot spread the rumor of Poe's insanity, which was taken up by other enemies of Poe and reported in newspapers. He's crazy. Fucking lock him up. He's going to kill people. The St. Louis Reveille. I don't know how to say this. How the... fucking... Reveille?
Reveille.
Reveille. Reveille. What does it mean? Woo! Good enough that saying this. Reveille. Signal. Bugle. Oh, reveille. What is that called? Oh, wow, I pushed it out. The poet and author has been deranged. Doctor whatever of the insane retreat. What year was this? Is he in the last years of his life? Dude, this fucking stress killed his wife. Fuck. It declared that Mr. E. Mrs. E. had been her murderer. I mean, I might have sight read that, like, but I didn't. I don't think I did. I just came to that conclusion before I read this. Oh, you can't see it. Awkward. Well, that's going to have a way less comedic effect. Tuberculosis. Bleed from the mouth. While singing and playing the piano. Dude, this couple had it good. They had it for 11 years. But they really had a good time. They fucked with New York. sang till they bled out their mouths. She probably had cancer, which drove Poe into deep depression. Sherman felt the agonies for her death. More dearly clung to her life with desperate pertinacity. I heard someone use this word the other day, and I forget what it means. Let's see, pertinacity. Quality of being determined and sticking with something no matter what. Awesome. Pertinacity. Maybe I can use that in my New York poem. But I'm constitutionally sensitive, nervous in a very unusual degree. I became insane with long intervals of horrible sanity. Dude, Edgar Allan Poe, I got something of you in me, I know it. She could tend the flowers, entertain visitors. Oh my god, she played the harp! Ugh. God. I know I shall die soon. I know I can't get well, but I want to be as happy as possible and make Edgar happy. That's so beautiful. She promised her husband that after her death, she would be his guardian angel. My God, dude. Wait, this is just all on her, right? Wait, I don't even understand this. He urged her to remain optimistic. Keep up your heart in all hopelessness and trust yet a little longer. Regular appetite, flushed cheeks, unstable pulse, night sweats, high fever, sudden chills, shortness of breath, chest pains, coughing, spitting up blood, and vomiting and shitting. But they didn't write that. With the consumption. What the fuck is the consumption? Hey Google, what is the consumption as a disease?
On the website lung.org, they say, tuberculosis, also known as consumption, is a disease caused by bacteria that usually attacks the lungs, and at the turn of the 20th century, the leading cause of death in the United States.
Gosh, here I'm hacking up my freaking guts, coughing. But it's not nearly as bad as what she was going through, or anyone who's had to, well, there's plenty of freaking samples of things I don't want to talk about. He sent Poe and his wife an inspirational Christmas book. what? Oh. So he's like, hey, friends. Oh, okay. So he published a big news article saying, cheer these people up. His wife's dying. They love each other terribly. And he's fucking like me, so he's going crazy. His mother had tuberculosis. I guess it was getting people a lot. Good thing we hate vaccines so much. We could have tuberculosis back, and only the strong would survive. We, whom he has quarreled with, will take the lead. Gosh, man, wow. Said that Edgar Poe is lying dangerously with brain fever, and that his wife is in the last stages of consumption. They are without money and without friends. Wait, really? Wait, is this two separate people? Like, published? It's a perfect pallor. Hey, Google, define pallor. Oh, never mind. A perfect pallor. People really liked white back then. She was beautiful, and her face, and her face defied the genius of a Canova, famous for marble structures that were real beautiful. Darling, will you console and take of my poor Eddie? Will you never leave him? His mother did stay with him until he died. That must have been rough. The family received many visitors. Okay, Lennon. Cemetery. Sheila was destroyed and remains were almost forgotten. Why was the cemetery destroyed? Small bronze casket. Woo! She was his all. See, that's the problem with me. I'm gonna be completely dedicated to whoever you are. Ugh. Put on to Okay, wait. Poe courted several other women. Even so, she was the only woman he ever loved. I feel like these people are just kind of saying these things to get some attention. Especially her, because she was doing that all over the place earlier. So Poe is responsible. Dude, what the fuck? George Gliffman? Hey Google, define spasmodic.
Here's the definition of spasmodic: occurring or done in brief, irregular bursts.
Oolaloom. Oh shit, it's probably so good. Love your poems, Edgar Allan Poe. I would wish all I love to perish of that gentle disease. I don't get this. Shit. Poe edited his first published story to remove the narrator's line, I would wish all I love to perish. Oh my god. So, Poe, I would wish all I love to perish of that gentle disease. A reference to tuberculosis. I bet I could get a bunch of Poe's poems audio for my car. It'd be good. Oolaloom. The skies, they were ashen and sober. The leaves, they were crisped and sere. Oh crap, what does sere mean? Why is the word in the definition annoying? red bear. That makes total sense. Oh boy. How many words am I not gonna know? The skies were ashen and sober. The leaves were crisp. Wait, what was the definition? I mean, what was the pronunciation? Bernus. Oh my god, really?
Sarah,
Sarah. 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 Sarah.
Sarah,
Sarah.
Sarah,
Sarah. Is that really how you pronounce that? Sarah? Sarah? Not Sarah. 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 Not Sierra. Not Ciara. Sarah. The skies, they were ashen and sober. The leaves, they were crisp and Sarah. The leaves, they were withering and Sarah. Don't like that so far, Edgar Allan Poe. Don't like where we're going with this. It was night in the lonesome October of my most immemorial year. It was seer. Yeah, this, who, it's seer. I don't care. The skies were ashen and sober. The leaves, they were crisp and sere. The leaves, they were withering and sere. It was night in the lonesome October of my most immemorial year. It was hard by the dim lake of Auber in the misty mid-region of Weir. It was down by the dank tarn of Auber and the ghoul-haunted woodland of Weir. Here once, though through an alley titanic, of Cyprus I roamed with my soul. Of Cyprus with Psyche my soul. These were days when my heart was volcanic, as the scoriac rivers that roll. Don't know what that means. Scoriac. Scoriaceous. No one has definitions for these words. Fine. Scoriaceous. Of relating or producing scoria. Come on. Here's the rhymes, apparently. It's another word for slag? Maybe specifically from ore. Scoria. Scoria. Where are we? As the scoriac rivers that roll. Oh, so all this shit they're putting in the rivers. Good one, Poe. As the scoriac rivers that roll, as the lavas that restlessly roll, their sulfurous currents down Yannick, and the ultimate climbs of the pull, that groan as they roll down Mount Yannick, and the realms of the boreal pull. Boreal. I don't know that one. Boreal. More like Boreos. What was that Adam Sandler movie? Little Jimmy. Fuck. Of the northern region. Boreal apparatus. I feel like that's a magic card. Boreal magic card. Oh, come on. It's on a lot of Jasmine Boreal. Jasmine Boreal. Also Jasmine Boreal. Boreal Outrider. I remember this one. I don't know if I know this one. It's probably real Ice Age, judging by the icon. Okay, let's close this. Boreal, Northern. Boreal Pole. Our talk had been serious and sober, but our thoughts, they were placid and sere. Palseed. God, this poem was so beautiful. Palseed. Affect with paralysis and involuntary tremors. I don't think I know what this is like at all. I don't think I've been in true paralysis. A palsy. Like cerebral palsy. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Palsied and sere. Oh, there's the lady, fake ladybug. A man bug. It's okay to kill man bugs. No one likes men. Ugh. Okay. But our thoughts, they were palsied and sere. Our memories were treacherous and sere. For we knew not the month was October, and we marked not the night of the year. Ah, night of all nights in the year. We noted not the dim lake of Auber. Though once we had journeyed down here, we remembered not the dank tarn of Auber. Tarn. It's gotta be like tarnish, but I'm looking it up. What in tarnation? A small mountain lake. Okay. Senescent. Dark tarn of Auber, nor the ghoul-haunted woodland of Weir. And now, as the night was senescent, it's probably a smell thing, right? Senescent. Aging at the cellular level. Growing old. And now, as the night was senescent, is it the smell of aging? So it's the smell of a night growing old. And stardials pointed to morn, and the stardials hinted of morn. At the end of our path, liquescent. It's gotta be a smell thing again, right? Liquescent? Liquescent? I think they're talking about drinking alcohol. And the end of our path, a liquescent and nebulous luster was born, of which a miraculous crescent arose with a duplicate horn. Astarte's diamond crescent. Astarte's. Start. The ancient goddess of fertility and war and a type of selfish. Start. Is that how you say it? Oh my god, Astarte?
Astarte.
Astarte. Astarte. I got a good job. All right. Astartes. Astartes bediamond crescent, distinct with its duplicate horn. I am not having a good time with this Edgar Allan Poe, but maybe it's just because I don't know the words. And I said she is warmer than Dian. She rolls through an ether of sighs. She revels in a region of sighs. She has seen that the tears are not dry on these cheeks where the worm never dies. This is so weird. I feel like I should read this again because this is actually really hard to rhyme when I'm speaking it. He's doing some real clever shit and I don't get it. And has come past the stars of the lion to point us the path to the skies, to the Lethian peace of the skies. Come up in despite of the lion to shine on us with her bright eyes. Come up through the layer of the lion with love in her luminous eyes. I am not going to read this again right now because this tangent's gone on too far. That was a lot. I learned some cool old words. Astartes, for example. This was amazing. Last held his dear Annabelle Lee and died 1840. At age 40. Hey Google, how old was Edgar Allan Poe when he died? It was
Edgar Allan Poe was 40 years old when he died in 1849.
Oh shit, 1849. Okay. Whoops. So she died in 1847. I should take a break. Here we go. Just had a long mix in with Edgar Allan Poe. Okay. Annabelle Lee. How do you spell that? Annabelle. Abolitionist. Offered. What once was swamps, creeks, and streams became settled by natives. Became settled by the native Lenape. They spoke a language called Unami, and caught fish and shellfish, and ate fish and shellfish by the plenty. Giovanni da Verrazzano was the first European, captaining a French ship in 1524, seeing a place he declared for the King of France, New Angoulême, abundance and circumstance. Henry Hudson discovered a ton of slick. Henry Hudson. What year was the Henry Hudson thing again? Might as well have the year. Do you really? Henry Hudson, where'd you go? You don't have a lot of days to write this, Andrew. Hey Google, what's on my agenda tomorrow? Tomorrow's Tuesday.
There are 2 entries tomorrow.
Oh, that's good.
At 1 p.m. you have message Uber driver Ethan Skates.
Okay.
Next, at 7 p.m. you have the Pub South Windsor open
Oh,
mic.
yeah, good. Got a big day of writing poetry tomorrow. a second. I feel like this page is totally different. What the hell? Did they edit this like when I was looking at it? Did they look at New York City history? Okay. So one's called New York City, one's called History of New York City. Oh my God, was this what I was reading? This isn't what I want. This is what I want. Whew. There we go. (1664) August, summer. There we go. Hey Google, what is Hudson Harbor?
Sorry, I don't understand.
Fuck.
But I found something similar. Do you want to know what is the New York Harbor used for?
Did they enter out to the bay? New York Harbor. Let's go New York Harbor. The buildings, some counted to 300. Back then, the buildings at the time numbered. The buildings at the time, New York buildings at the time numbered. New York's buildings at the time numbered 384, which grew to 983 in 1694. In that time, in the introduction, the introduction of guns, germs, and steel dwindled the populations, dwindled the raw deal, dwindled population, dwindled, I don't want to say native, let's say Lenape. The introduction of guns, germs, and steel decimated, that's a great word, decimated the Lenape. The introduction of guns, germs, and steel decimated the Lenape, who couldn't deal. New York's buildings at the time numbered 384, which grew to 983 in 1694. The introduction of guns, germs, and steel decimated the Lenape into 200. Felt unreal. Then the revolution spoke of freedom from the king. Years passed. Lawyers, big deal, lawyers. Ugh. What was once swamps, creeks, and streams became 80 settlements of the Lenape. These natives spoke a language. These natives spoke a language called Unami, and 5,000 people ate fish. And 5,000 people ate. And 5,000 people ate shellfish by the plenty. Giovanni de Verrazzano was the first European, captaining a French ship in 1524, seeing a place he declared for the King of France, New Anglame, abundance and circumstance. Henry Hudson discovered slick beaver pelts. Henry Hudson from England discovered slick beaver pelts. Henry Hudson from England discovered slick pelts of beavers damming up the rivers and fishing for themselves. The Dutch settled colonies, trading up new deals, which is why beavers exist on New York City's seal. They left the names of places you probably walked through, like Flushing and Brooklyn and Harlem too. Then, in the summer of 1664, 4 unfriendly frigates entered New York Harbor. The English stormed, blazing on in. The English landed, making demands. The English landed what was once swamps, creeks, and streams became 80 settlements of the Lenape. These natives spoke a language called Unami, and 5,000 people ate shellfish by the plenty. Giovanni de Verrazzano was the first European, captaining a French ship in 1524, seeing a place he declared for the King of France, New abundance. Henry Hudson from England discovered slick pelts of beavers damming up the rivers and fishing for themselves. So the Dutch settled colonies, trading up new deals, which is why beavers exist on New York City's seal. They left the names of places you probably walked through, like Flushing and Brooklyn and Harlem too. Then, in the summer of 1664, 4 unfriendly frigates entered New York Harbor's door. Entered New York. Then, in the summer of 1664, 4 English frigates entered New York Harbor. Is it New York City Harbor? It's New York Harbor.
According to Wikipedia, New York Harbor.
Fine. Then, in the summer of 1664, 4 English frigates entered New York Harbor. A guy named... I like that. A guy named... Richard Nichols. A guy named Richard Nichols... A guy named Richard Nichols started making the mans. So 1665. So 1665 was the end of the Dutch American. A guy named Richard Nichols started demanded they surrender. A guy named Richard Nichols demanded the Dutch surrender. Dutch capitulate. Hey Google, define capitulate. Hey Google, define capitulate.
Here's the definition of capitulate. Cease to resist an opponent or an unwelcome demand. Surrender.
A guy named Richard Nichols, four English then in the summer of 1664, 4 English frigates entered New York Harbor. Richard Nichols demanded, and his Richard Nichols and his men demanded, and his Richard Nichols and his men demanded the Dutch surrender. Then, in the summer of 1664, 4 English frigates entered New York Harbor. Richard Nichols and his men demanded the Dutch capitulate. Harbor. Then, in the summer of 1664, 4 English frigates entered New York Harbor. Richard Nichols and his men demanded it's just so good. Richard Nichols and his men demanded surrender. The Dutch capitulated without anyone defender. Then, in the summer of 1664, 4 English frigates entered New York Harbor. Richard Nichols and his men. Richard Nichols repped the English. Then, in the summer of 1664, 4 English frigates entered New York Harbor. Richard Nichols repped the English. Richard Nichols. Englishman. English Captain Richard Nichols demanded a surrender. English Captain Richard Nichols demanded, there we go, I like that. English Captain Richard Nichols demanded a surrender. The Dutch capitulated with no shots. Was there no shots fired? Tell me more about this, please. Yeah, there's a lot of not New York right here. Okay, the Dutch clip. Only 2 weeks later. Colonist buildings at the time numbered 380. At the time, colonist buildings. At the time, colonist buildings numbered. At the time, colonist buildings numbered 384, which grew to 983 in 1694. By 1700, decimation. The Lenape. The Lenape decimation seemed almost unreal. Brought to death by guns, germs, steel. Decimation. They were in 1700, the Lenape decimation seemed almost unreal. Brought to death. Oh my God, how much time have I already spent? I feel like I'm already. What year am I in? 1849, hypothetically. How much time do I spend reading this? Oh, I'm gonna have to cut it. No, I don't. I can just do the first 3 minutes and say I'll make another one. What was once swamps, creeks, and streams became 80 settlements of the Lenape. These natives spoke a language called Unami, and 5,000 people ate shellfish by the plenty. No, I don't want to do that. At the time, colonists, blah, blah, blah. In 1700, the Lenape. The Lenape were decimated. The Lenape were decimated. It seemed. The Lenape were decimated. The Lenape were decimated. The Lenape were decimated. It must have felt unreal. Brought to death. brought to death in conflict. Conflicty. With brought to death in conflict with guns, germs, and steel. Then the revolution spoke of freedom from the king, but that freedom didn't yet include slavery. Patriots, but that freedom to fighters of slavery. Then the revolution spoke of freedom from the king. Both sides. Then the revolution spoke of... Gosh, what do I say here? Then the revolution spoke of freedom from the king. Then the... T into X's. Or miffed. This is not what I want. What is a Liberty Pole? That's cool. What once was swamps, creeks, and streams became 80 settlements of the Lenape. These natives spoke a language called Unami, and 5,000 people ate shellfish by the plenty. Giovanni de Verrazzano was the first European, captaining a French ship in 1524, seeing a place he declared for the King of France, New Angoulême, a port of abundance and circumstance. Henry Hudson from England discovered slick pelts of beavers damming up the rivers and fishing for themselves. So the Dutch settled colonies trading up new deals, which is why beavers exist on New York City's seal. They left the names of places, and you probably walked through, like Flushing and Brooklyn and Harlem too. Then, in the summer of 1664, 4 English frigates entered New York Harbor. English Captain Richard Nichols demanded a surrender. The Dutch capitulated only 2 weeks later. At the time, colonists' buildings numbered 384, which grew to 983 in 1694. The Lenape were decimated. It must have felt unreal, brought to death in conflicts with guns, germs, and steel. Eventually, colonists were fed up with the king. They erected liberty poles in the streets to show their disdain. Patriots offered freedom to slaves who'd take up arms. Loyalists offered freedom to slaves who'd take up arms. Manhattan was the place the Tories held their situation. Nathan Hale spied on them and was put to death. Okay, how much time is that? 2 minutes. Oh, my God. Might as well just make it as long as we need to. I think I want to take a break. Oof.